Children are gonna pretty much emulate their parents. How are you doing on that?
I'm doing good.
You got 63 convictions.
Besides this, I take care of my kids.
We now call 23 CR 1380 Kelvin R. Johnson. That's you?
Yes, sir.
See, already entered, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sure. When did we do that?
That was on March 4th, 24, 2020.
I don't have it. Because there's nothing marked on it. It looks like a third-degree felony, but. I don't
Yes,
know
sir.
if
Yes,
there's
Your
anything
Honor.
marked on here. I can always do it.
Theft and prior conviction, prior felony.
Because it starts out as a state jail felony. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But then it's enhanced.
Well, it doesn't show what he pleaded true to. Okay, state jail felony. He's got to plead to 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, the
Yes, sir.
whole indictment is what
Yes,
he
sir.
pleaded to.
Yes, sir.
Okay, just
And I believe
For-
he's already done that, but yes, sir.
Mr. Johnson is here with his attorney, Mr. Grover, the state's attorney. Earlier, you pleaded guilty to this indictment, Mr. Johnson. You remember doing that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we're just going to go briefly over it. Paragraph 1 of the indictment alleges that you committed theft. Paragraph 2 goes on to state, though, that you have 2 or more prior theft convictions out of county court at law. So paragraphs 1 and 2 constitute a state jail felony, even if you steal a pack of gum
Yes, sir.
because of prior
Yes,
convictions.
sir.
So you pleaded guilty to those prior convictions in paragraph 2 in 2022 and 2023 out of county court at law 2 of Jefferson County, Texas. Are you pleading true to those allegations of prior thefts voluntarily and because those allegations are true and correct as they are alleged?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading guilty to paragraph 1 stating that on or about April 29th, 2023 in Jefferson County, Texas, you committed theft?
Yes, sir.
So thus paragraphs 1 and 2 constitute a state jail felony, but paragraphs 3 and 4 alleged in 2004, you were convicted twice of delivery of a controlled substance in this criminal district court in 2 different cases. Are those allegations as set forth in paragraphs 3 and 4 true and correct as they are alleged?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading true and correct today, voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently, and because all of that is true?
Yes, sir.
And the agreement was set forth that whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 5 years in prison. Is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
You're going to be asking for probation here and
Yes, yes, sir.
but paragraphs 1, 2, 3, and 4 constitute a state jail felony punished as though it were a third-degree felony. Thus, you are looking at the term of not more than 10 years or less than 2 years in prison, up to $10,000 in fine, which is by agreement capped at 5 years in prison. So you're really looking at no less than 2 nor more than 5 years in prison, plus probation could be assessed. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir.
All right. And that was what you agreed to, and whatever I do, as long as I follow this agreement, you have no right of appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Grove.
Basically, Judge, Mr. Johnson has had some recent problems. A lot of these were due to the fact that he was a tranny, didn't have a place to stay. We believe he is taking care of that problem.
How'd you do that? How are you?
I got somewhere to stay at my mama house now. She put me on a little lease or whatever.
How long has he been in custody, please?
I believe June
June.
2023.
You know, I ain't had no case, I got no trouble, nothing.
You certainly don't when you're in custody.
You get in trouble.
Yeah, but It doesn't happen often, does it? Because it compounds the problem.
Yes, sir.
An agreement has been reached again that whatever sentence shall not exceed a cap of 5 years in prison. A pre-sentence report has been prepared by the probation office. Have the parties had an opportunity to review it? Any corrections or changes to it?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Yeah, and I reviewed it with Mr. Johnson, and we have no changes to make to the
It's made,
pre-sentence report.
it's made a part of the record for all purposes. What was stolen here on this occasion?
There was some food items from Kroger. They were actually, he was caught going outside, so they were recovered. But it was some.
Food?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Judge, but during
Go
this,
ahead.
this time period, he did have a number of criminal trespasses because he did not have a place to stay. He believes that that has been taken care of.
Yes, sir.
He'll be able to live with his
Um,
mother. He also has 3 children, 8, 12, and 14, I believe, that will be able to support them.
How can you do that?
I'm gonna get a job. I was working at Green Man. He the owner of Volkswagen. He let me work for him, Harry Smiley. And I work for a church. Be a bishop, Mr. Morris Jenkins. I cut trees, I do other stuff too, and they'll keep my trouble too. I won't do that again no more, you know.
How many prior convictions do you have?
Sir,
How many convictions do you have?
just one, it was in 2004, but since then I ain't getting no trouble.
That would be incorrect, wouldn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
For everybody knows that would be incorrect because I'm looking at your pre-sentence report here, which shows
I believe he's got a 2002 arrest, in 2003
I
for
see.
felony.
I see 3 felony convictions, 8 years in prison for burglary of a habitation. You were placed on probation. That was revoked. Then you were sentenced to 8 years in prison. And also on the day that you were revoked on your probation and sentenced, you were also sentenced to 1 year in the state jail for 2 counts of manufacturing and delivering the controlled substance. So those are-
What time? I mean,
Alright,
how many times? I went
So
to the
those are
pen?
3 felony convictions there.
Okay, I'm sorry, I thought you meant how many times I went to the pen.
No, that's, everybody knows what I asked. And I asked how many convictions you had. I bet how many, I didn't say, how many times did you go to
Okay, I
prison?
apologize.
Well, there's a big difference in those words. So you also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 prior misdemeanor convictions of courts of record. So that's 19. Plus you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 12, 17, 24, 44 Class C misdemeanors of gambling, open alcohol container, traffic related offenses, failures to appear, public intoxications, contempts of court, protection order violations, and failure to identify. So when I ask you if you have any prior convictions, I believe your answer was 1. You actually have 63. Your addition was just a little off.
Yes, sir.
That's what's good about having these pre-sentence reports, I guess. All right. Now we know what we're looking at here. Go ahead, David.
Basically, Judge, Mr. Johnson can't deny his criminal history. Again, I would point out that from 2021 to, well, really till 2023, besides this one, the one theft that we're talking about here, he's had some criminal trespass and some other minor charges, minor being that they were gambling and things of that nature. Basically, though, Mr. Johnson believes that he has been able to, will be able to clean up his criminal history. Because he's fine.
How can you clean up the criminal history?
Well, not clean up criminal history, not repeat.
Oh,
Not repeat.
okay. That's
That was
63
inferred.
convictions. That's a lot of cleaning up. That
Yes,
would
sir.
be impossible anyway, of
Yes, sir.
course.
I misspoke, but
He's taken a change of his behavior,
yes,
so
sir.
he says.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And he would be able to
Hey.
follow along with whatever orders the court
There's a
gives him
box.
to do. And he realizes this is the last time. There's not going to be
The other one.
any other arrests. If the court gives him one last chance. He also would like to address the court at the appropriate
Okay,
time.
go ahead.
First of all, I apologize for what I did do. And if I could take time back instead of going take this stuff out the store, I would take an application to get a job to buy that stuff, you know? And I live and learn. I don't go backwards. And if I get probation, my kids will help me too, because they here for me to take care of them, and I'm not taking care of them being here.
No,
And I'm better than that. I really am.
we can't take care of them when you've been convicted
No, sir.
63 times.
No,
You're
sir.
too busy in prison.
Yes,
And-
sir.
But your oldest child is how old?
13.
Well, you've had that child, well, you've been committing crimes while you've had that
Yeah,
child.
but It ain't no.
Don't blame, so
No, I'm saying.
don't
ain't no
hide
excuse.
behind your children now.
I'm not-
The day you find out you're gonna have a child,
Yes, sir.
you should commit yourself to being a role model,
Yes, sir.
but you hadn't been a role model.
No, sir.
So I want to hear about the children because that's not fair to them.
Yes, sir.
Because your child, you're trying to hide behind your child, and that's not right. You're standing up on your own. Your child has been around for 13 years and here you are again.
Yeah, but
It's not helping. That child's existence isn't helping you be a better person like children are supposed to be.
Yes, sir.
They need a father
Yes, sir.
who's not acting as a role model.
Yes, sir.
And foremost, you are a role model. Children are gonna pretty much emulate their parents. How are you doing on that?
I'm doing good.
You got 63 convictions.
Besides this, I take care of my kids. I teach.
No, you gotta, besides this,
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, you can feed them and clothe them, but when you're committing crimes,
Yes,
what are they
sir.
learning from you?
Yes.
Okay. It's simple.
Yes, sir.
What are you asking for, Ms. Smith?
Your Honor, somewhere close to the top end of the 5 years.
Anything else from anybody? I think I understand where we are. Here's what I'm going to find, and if nothing further, I'm going to find you pleaded guilty voluntarily to paragraphs 1, true to paragraph 2, constituting a state jail felony, true to paragraphs 3 and 4, prior state jail felonies convictions, which enhance this to a third degree felony punishment, state jail felony. So you put yourself in a position when you go and steal a pack of gum and get caught, you're looking at up to 10 years in prison because of your colorful criminal past. You have pleaded guilty and true voluntarily, knowingly, intelligently. There's sufficient evidence supporting your plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted at your plea hearing to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of this state jail felony punished as a third degree felony. I so find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I am following this agreement and you are found guilty of the state jail felony punished as under third degree felony punishment for prior convictions. You were hereby sentenced to confinement in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Criminal Justice to serve a term of 2 years. You will be given credit 297 days. You can do the math. You'll see. You'll probably be released pretty quickly here. But the problem is that you're going to be released and you have a prolific criminal record. You need to turn that around.
Yes, sir.
But you've had children for 13 years. They have, that hasn't prompted you to do the right. I hope your word, you're committed to your word, because these are all choices that you have made. In spite of the fact you have children at home, knowing that pack of gum puts you in prison up to 10 years. Those are your choices. And you're not just hurting yourself, are you? You've got children who rely on you. You're hurting them. How does that make you feel?
Hey,
I would feel terrible, but it's not preventing you from continuing to make bad choices. The problem is, you know what the right choices are. Make them. That is all.
thank you.
Okay, it's 23 CR 1843. You were Ryan Latina.
Yes, sir.
You were charged here with stalking. And go ahead.
Your Honor, I filed a writ. The bond is set at $100,000, which we're alleging is excessive, and we're asking for a bond reduction. That's for the reasons adumbrated in the writ. And I'm prepared to elicit some testimony.
Go ahead.
From the defendant's.
Go ahead.
Sharice Connolly. Where do you want her to be positioned? Your
That's
Honor?
right.
Well, actually, just skip-
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. Yes, go ahead.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Would you identify yourself by stating your full name and spelling your last name?
Sharice Noel Conley, Conley.
Ms. Connolly, how are you related to Ryan Latino?
Small.
In connection with this writ hearing today, I asked you to get some information from different bondsmen. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
And did you do that?
Yes, sir, I did.
And which bondsmen did you contact?
Allied, Bell America, Professional Bell Bonds, and Outrage.
So actually, you spoke with 4 different bonding companies, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Are all of those licensed to do business in Jefferson County?
Yes, sir.
And did you make the inquiry of the first bonding company, which would be Allied, I believe, as far as what the financing and charges would be for a $100,000 bond?
Yes, sir.
And what did they tell you regarding what their bonding fee and financing options would be for a $100,000 bond?
$10,000, we would have to put down $3,000 and pay $500 to $1,000 per month with 2 co-signers.
And would there be specific requirements regarding who would be acceptable co-signers as far as financial security,
Yes, that would be my husband
and yourself?
and myself.
And you, both you and your husband were acceptable co-signers to them?
Yes,
What about a bond in the amount of $50,000?
for Alan.
Yes, ma'am. These are all for, I will start with Alan.
$5,000. They said per month would depend on the co-signer and the job that they want.
Okay, and then did you also make inquiry for a $10,000
A $10,000.
bond?
Yes, sir.
what they
It's the
advise you?
same per month, depending on the co-signer.
And what would be the down payment on the $10,000
They didn't tell me that. They just were telling me the per month for the
for the
$1,000.
1,000? And then the next one you contacted was Bail America, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what did they advise you regarding their requirements for $100,000?
$2,500 with $200 per month for 2 co-signers.
So they were, what was the total fee for a $100,000?
I think it was $2,500. I didn't write that down. Oh, I'm sorry, $10,000.
10% of the total bond.
That is correct.
So they would charge you $2,500 down and a total fee of $10,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then the monthly payments would be what?
$200 per month with 2 co-signers.
And did you make inquiry regarding a $50,000?
I did 5,000 for 150 per month with 2 co-signers.
And what was the down payment for 5,000? 5,000 is the total fee. What was the down
Correct.
payment?
She didn't tell me.
And then as far as a $10,000 bond, what was the total fee?
About $1,000 with $100 per month. She didn't tell me a down payment.
And then professional bail bonds, what was their total fee for $100,000?
The total fee was $10,000 with $3,600 down, $300 to $400 per month.
And what about co-signers?
She didn't say co-signer.
And then what about a $50,000 bond from professional?
$1,800 down,
For a total, what's the total fee?
5,000,
Of which they needed $1,800
$1,800 down.
and per month, what would the financing be?
$300 to $400 per month with $150 to $200 biweekly.
All right, and then it's finally with professional with a $10,000 bond, what was the total fee?
$300
The
down,
total fee,
$1,000.
and what was the down payment for?
$300 down,
And
and then pay out the rest
Alright.
either biweekly or per month.
then the last company was Al Reed Bail Bonds, is that correct?
That is correct.
And what was their total fee on the $100,000 bond?
$3,000
No, the
down.
total fee.
$10,015,
And then what-
$3,000 down.
3,000 is a down payment, and then how much would the financing be on the balance?
They could not tell me that.
Okay,
It's based on the cosigner and the job.
I got you. And they require co-signers as well, is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
How many? One or two, do you know?
Two,
And were you and your husband both acceptable co-signers to them, or did you ask?
yes.
What about a $50,000 bond with Al Reed?
$5,015 with $1,500 down.
And again, the monthly payments will be contingent upon the co-sign.
Correct.
And then finally with Al Reed, what was the total fee for it?
1,015 with $275 down.
Now, obviously, Mr. Latino is responsible for his bond and payment of the bond fees.
That
Are
is
you
correct.
familiar with his financial circumstances?
Yes.
What are they?
He was doing work from home. And that's,
Okay, and he no longer has that job since he's been incarcerated, is
that
that
is
right?
correct.
Does he have any savings?
Yes.
How much are in his savings, do you know?
Maybe $800 to $1,000.
Okay. Does he have any other assets, liquid assets, money?
Yes.
What are
Yes, he
those?
does have assets. He has equipment that he could sell.
What kind of equipment?
Trailer, a side by side, a four-wheeler.
Okay, how much do you think the total could be raised?
There's no way to give. 2,500 to 3,500.
And what would be the amount of time that would be necessary to try to get those things? How much time would that take, do you know? In order to raise-
A month, maybe less.
Any other real estate, property, anything like that? Any other vehicles, stocks and bonds?
No, sir.
So basically, he has a trailer, four-wheeler, and around $800 to $1,000.
And a side by side, yes.
What is a side by side?
It's, that thing that you ride in on off-road.
Okay, I'll
Oh,
ask.
and a motorcycle, I'm sorry. I forgot.
What's the motorcycle?
I don't know the model, I don't know.
Does he have clear title to all those
Yes,
things? or are they-
yes, he does.
or-
Yes, sir, he does.
Do you know if he's tried, obviously he's still in jail, so he hasn't been able to facilitate payment of the $100,000 bond, is that
That
right?
is correct.
And you made efforts to do that, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And obviously you and your husband aren't responsible for that, that's Mr. Latino.
That is correct.
As far as his ties to the community, where would he live if he were on bond? And out of
Well, he
jail?
has his own house.
Where is that located?
It's in Hardin County.
What's the address?
I think it's 9025 Dogwood,
And what, is that
Lumberton.
Lumberton, all right. And he would be residing there by himself?
Yes.
And as far as his background in the community, how long has he lived at that address, or do you know?
He has lived at that address, for 4 years,
And how long how long has he been in the Southeast Texas area, Jefferson County, Hardin?
all of his life.
Whole life?
Yes, sir.
Doesn't have ties to other parts of the state or
No,
other
sir.
states?
No, sir.
So you agree he has substantial ties to the community, is that right?
Very much so.
Did you ask about what the cost of a GPS monitoring device would be in addition to the bonding fees? Should the court impose that with the bonding fees?
I did. I think they said there was a price to get it, but then it was like $220 a month.
So in addition to, if the court were to impose a GPS device as a condition of bond, there would be an additional $220 a month, but in addition to whatever the bonding bill was, the bonding
Yes.
payments would be, is that
Yes.
right? If the court were to see fit to release me and make a no contact order with the alleged victim in the case, is it your opinion that Mr. Latina would follow that order?
Yes, sir.
And additionally, with the
Absolutely.
imposition of a GPS monitoring device to be monitored, that would
Yes,
also,
absolutely.
but also communications, online communications, telephone, those types of stuff, any contact at all. Is your opinion he would follow that order?
Yes, sir.
Password, Sean.
Ma'am, were you aware that your son got into a fight in jail this weekend with another inmate?
Yes.
What did you know? What do you know about it?
I heard that he was trying to fight my son and my son put him in a headlock. As to not fight him, to defend himself.
So apparently that's something that he told you,
Yes,
but that's an incident that occurred this weekend right before he appears in court, correct?
yes,
Are you also aware that he had another jail incident on March 21st? It's only been in there for just, what,
35 days,
35 days?
36 days,
Are you aware of that incident?
possibly. I mean, we talk about a lot. I only recall this last one.
Where a nurse alleged that he was being rude and mistreating her?
No, sir, I don't.
Never heard anything about that.
know.
Before I told you about that, would you have expected that conduct out of your son?
No, sir.
Certainly the stalking charges don't fit within the conduct you're aware of either, is it?
I am aware of the situation.
I meant you wouldn't expect him to actually stalk somebody.
No, sir.
Right.
Absolutely not.
So when you made the representation to the court that he would abide by terms,
Absolutely.
that's what you would have thought before the stalking charges came up
Yes.
as well. So how much money today does the family have to try to help him post a bond?
Again, Your Honor, I would object. It's not the family's responsibility. I believe under the law, it's the defendants. They're not required to. And as far as a consideration, it's not the family's financial.
I'll rephrase the question. Has there been
It's
an
what possible assets he may have,
If he has.
and
yes,
if
Your
the
Honor.
family is willing to help him, that would be an asset that he could possibly use, but go ahead.
So what's the amount that's been raised to try to get him out of jail?
Well, if the bond was dropped to 5,000, we'd be way better off to be able to help him. Even 10,000.
My question was, what amount has been raised to, what amount do y'all have today to post for a bond?
I mean, we haven't discussed that. My
But
husband-
there's no dollar amount that y'all have.
Not at this moment.
Okay.
But we are willing to help.
Understand. That's what,
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, what else do you have? You can be excused, ma'am. Thank you. What else did add?
I really don't want to call him as a witness, Your Honor. I think that it's sufficient from what his mother, what elicited from his mother for the court to look at
Yeah.
his conditions.
Right.
And then, of course, I mean, I guess I can just like briefly call him as a witness then. Reggie.
I think, have you been sworn in already? You solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
yes, sir.
Go ahead.
You heard your mother testify about your banking account, savings account, checking account. How much liquid access do you have? As far as money in a bank or something that you can access?
800 to 1,000.
Which bank is it in, or Trinity Union?
It's actually a life insurance policy.
Oh, okay, so you don't have money on deposit anywhere?
It may be in my bank. I'm not sure. I've been in jail. And then I also have the motorcycle side by side, the four-wheel load wing. Some other things I could probably sell to come up with another 500 to 1,000.
Well, would you have to be out of jail to facilitate the sale of those items without a power of attorney?
Absolutely.
You have any real estate, rent houses,
No, sir.
property, this kind of things?
That's what I'm getting.
So I guess you have a cash value in your life insurance policy, is that what you said?
Yes.
What is the cash, I guess, cash value of that?
It could be higher now, but when I checked it, it was about 850.
$850,
Yes.
and that's the 850 you're referring to then?
Yes.
All right. So you don't actually have $800 or $1,000 on deposit in a financial institution.
No, I was in the process of cashing that out, before I got arrested.
Should the court release you on bond? Your mother indicated you resided in Hardin County, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You own that house or do you rent there? What's the situation?
I rent it, and rent is paid.
Okay. Would you make all of your court appearances, show up to court?
Absolutely, no question.
And if the court orders a no contact with the alleged victim in the case, you abide by that?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And again, if the court orders that you install and maintain a GPS device, you would do that?
That's not a problem. Yes, sir.
Pass witness.
Didn't Judge DeRuin order that you have home confinement and a GPS monitor?
Brandon, if you could be clear.
The judge that arraigned you when you
Yeah.
set the
Yeah,
hun-
yes, sir.
question is, when you were set the $100,000 bond, did it include the conditions of home confinement?
Yes, sir.
Did it also include the conditions of a GPS monitor?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what efforts have you made to raise money towards the bond as it is currently set?
I've been in jail, so I didn't actually find out about a lot of this till in February.
Right, so currently today, you haven't done anything to try to sell off those assets or find out how much money you've got in your bank account, correct?
Yes and no. I put a few things online, but I didn't get the chance to really go anywhere with it.
So you really haven't had the opportunity to try to put together funds to try to make the current bond amount. I made the representation to the court through my questioning of your mom. She had 2 different jail incidents. Is it true that on April 13th, that would be Saturday, that you were involved in a physical fight with an inmate by the name of William Woodley?
Yes, sir.
And that all occurred knowing that you were coming to court. You knew you were coming to court, right?
29th, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want to fight.
But it happened.
Yes, sir.
Likewise, you also had an incident soon after you came into custody where a nurse alleged that you treated her improperly.
That was actually a male nurse, sir.
I'm sorry. A nurse alleged you treated them improperly. That's the accusation, correct?
That is the accusation.
Has there been a finding by anybody on that? Meaning, once the issue has been done, has there been a finding by a court or anything there at the administrative level?
I asked for them to check the camera systems. No, sir, they didn't want to do that.
Did you receive disciplinary action?
3 days restrictions.
So the answer is yes, you're
Yes, sir.
disciplined for that conduct.
Sir.
No further questions of this
Didn't sign
witness,
the
Judge.
form.
What
I didn't actually sign that form.
was the 3-day restrictions for the incident with the nurse or for the incident with the other inmate?
No, it was for the incident with the nurse, the male nurse.
Was that when you were going through intake or when was that?
No, it was about 1 a.m. I was having pain and they told me they refused to see me for the pain and I just quit talking. And then next thing you know, I'm being rid of.
Okay.
Say it again. Next thing you know, what?
Next thing you know, he called the jailers to come in. They didn't hear our conversation, but the write-up alleges I was yelling. And next thing you know, they're writing me up because I wouldn't talk because I didn't know what to say. I don't disrespect them.
Very good.
Disrespected. And I guess there's no incident report that can be tendered.
I can if you want, if you're not going to object.
Again, we're going down a side trail here, and obviously, jail is what it is.
Anything else?
No.
Anything else?
Not from the state judge.
All right, the issue on bond is dealt out clearly under Article 17.15 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. The rules for setting amount of bond shall be sufficient to give reasonable assurance that the undertaking will be complied with, that is, appearance in court. The nature of the offense and the circumstances under which the offense are committed are to be considered, including whether the offense involved violence as defined in Article 17.03 of 03 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure. And the future safety of a victim of the alleged offense and the community shall be considered. And any aggravating factors in the charged offense are included under case decisions and the indictment that the grand jury has rendered in true bill states that you drove by and videoed the residence of the complainant and your conduct would cause a reasonable person to be placed in fear of bodily injury or death and feel harassed, annoyed, alarmed, abused, tormented, embarrassed, or offended. Also, that you knowingly engaged in conduct, namely a text stating the defendant would assault the complainant, and that would cause a reasonable person to fear. There's a probable cause affidavit that is applied in this case that the court is going to call Courts Exhibit 1 for the purpose of this hearing.
Should include in the record, Your Honor.
Sorry.
It's included in the record.
There it is. Yes, it will be part of the record, the probable cause affidavit, which stand by. Which, and the court has highlighted the portions that the court feels are relevant in this hearing. That on August 8th, 2023, the complainant receives a text message from the defendant that he knew where she lived and has homies that live 2 doors down who are watching her. Now, it also states that the defendant has video recorded the complainant's house and passes by, ensuring that she knows he is here. He is there. In this video, the defendant is driving a moving truck and states, "You think I'm crazy now? Y'all going to see how big my balls are. If you keep my kids from me, you put yourself between me and my kids. I'm going to stop your face in, homie. Watch." Now, this video, do you have a copy of that?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the probable cause affidavit certainly is more than concerning. It's very threatening, and we are on an issue apparently where these two have children together, and there's obviously emotion here involved, but the grand jury has reviewed this case and indicted you for the 3rd-degree felony of stalking. Thus, there are marching orders that are normal and customary for this type of offense. Your bond is at $100,000. I'm going to reduce it to $75,000. Because this court is not aware of criminal history.
There's been arrests, but no convictions.
Convictions are what are the key here. I can also, as a condition of a bond, under Article 17.46 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, for a bond involving stalking, if you post a bond, you shall not communicate with the victim, go near the victim's house or workplace, nor go near a school or daycare facility where the victim's children attend until this gets resolved. Also, you must have a GPS device that shows where you are at all times. And you shall not go near the victim or the children unless the other courts have reviewed this case and deemed that visitation is necessarily ordered until this case gets resolved, what we have to do is freeze the action to ensure that further harm does not occur and wrongdoing, additional wrongdoing is not added to this case. You're looking at up to 10 years in prison right now. Do you understand? On this charge. So that is serious. What other conditions of probation of bond would
Thank
be
you, Judge.
necessary?
Based upon the discovery, the state would ask for a drug patch. And what I mean by that, Your Honor,
It says that he failed a drug test. What was, did not pass a court-ordered drug screening. What was that?
they took a hair analysis, Judge, which my understanding. it
Why
goes-
was that done?
It's part of the court proceedings that were ongoing in the 88th District Court there in Hardin County.
Okay.
The result shows that he was positive for cocaine, positive for oxycodone, positive for THC. So based upon those results, I would ask that there be a drug patch additionally as a condition of bond.
Like, and again, Your Honor, that's an additional expense, so perhaps the court could drop the bond a little bit more if we're gonna have a drug patch as well.
Well, I've read, you've read it. You've got a copy of the
Not-
Indictment.
I'm familiar.
the probable cause affidavit. You've got a copy of that. If you don't, I've got a copy for you. So we've got to, these are most serious accusations, most serious. And we're not just talking about the mother of the children, but children are necessarily involved here. You're their father, right? I'm a father. I can't imagine putting my children into a position where they're afraid or in an environment like this where their mother feels threatened. It's for you to fix. You got a mess here. You got to figure out. But what we got to do is ensure that harm is not done from here on. But these are quite serious accusations, and what we're trying to do is to separate everybody until we can resolve this under the rules of law as soon as we can do it. And that means everybody's going to move to the corners until we can resolve this as soon as we can.
We set it for announcement.
What you want to announce now?
I'd like to really have an opportunity.
How much time? 3 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll reset 3 weeks announcement.
Okay. We can make it.
Yeah, drug patch and GPS device. Sir, if you happen to post a bond, or get a bond posted, do you understand how important those rules are?
I do, I won't break.
Okay, that's all.
ওয়াও মনে হয় ভিজুয়ালি দেখতে অনেক সুন্দর হয়েছে
হ্যাঁ প্রেজেন্টেশনটা ভালো থ্যাংক ইউ ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়েছি ঢাকা অডিশনের জন্য একটু টেনশন হচ্ছে নেক্সট রাউন্ডে আমি যেতে পারবো কিনা
আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাধুনী
সুরাইয়া পারভিন কি বানিয়েছেন আপনি
আমি একটি ডেজার্ট নিয়ে এসেছি আজকে লেয়ার কার্ড ফ্যান্টাসি
আমি জানি না টেস্ট কেমন আমি জাস্ট আপনার প্লেটিংটা দেখেই ওয়াও মনে হয় ডেজার্ট ছাড়া আপনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কুইজিন আর কি বানাতে পারেন
থাই চাইনিজটা পারি
থাই আর চাইনিজ কুইজিনের মধ্যে পার্থক্যটা কি বলতে পারবেন
কিছুটা কাছাকাছি কারণ এই দুটার মধ্যে আপনার যেই জিনিস প্রোডাক্টগুলো আমরা ইউজ করি প্রায় একই রকম
অনেকটা ডিফারেন্স আছে থাই খুব ঝাল হয় চাইনিজ অত ঝাল হয় না আর থাইতে প্রচুর কোকোনাট ইউজ করে চাইনিজে অত কোকোনাট ইউজ হয় না এছাড়াও এরকম অনেক উদাহরণ আছে
জি
দুটো ফুডের মধ্যে
জি
সেরা রাধুনীতে কেন এসেছেন?
আমি মনে করি ম্যাম সেরাধনী একটা হচ্ছে বিশাল বড় একটা প্ল্যাটফর্ম যেখানে নিজেকে আমি উপস্থাপন করতে পারবো সবার সামনে আমি আমার প্রতিভাকে দেখাতে পারবো ফিউচারে আমার খুব ইচ্ছা নিজেকে একজন সফল উদ্যোক্তা হিসেবে তৈরি করা আমি মনে করি সেরাধনী আমাকে সেই প্ল্যাটফর্মটা আমাকে তৈরি করে দিল
আজকে যদি আমরা আপনাকে ওয়েটিং কার্ড না দিই তাহলে আপনার কেমন লাগবে?
ভালো খারাপ দুইটাই লাগবে। কার্ড পেলে ভালো লাগবে, না পেলে ইনশাল্লাহ পরের বার আরও ভালোভাবে চেষ্টা করে আসবো।
আপনি তো আমাদের আগের চ্যালেঞ্জেসগুলো দেখেছেন, অনেক ইন্টারন্যাশনাল, অনেক ফিউশন, অনেক ডিফারেন্ট টাইপ অফ চ্যালেঞ্জেস থাকে। সো আপনার মনে হয় আপনি রেডি?
ইয়েস, আমি রেডি।
তাহলে চলে আসেন, আপনাকে আমরা
চলে
একটা ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিতে চাচ্ছি।
থ্যাংক ইউ শেফ। ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়েছি, ভালো লাগছে। জাজরাক আমার ফুড খেয়ে অনেক প্রশংসা করেছে। ঢাকা অডিশনের জন্য একটু টেনশন হচ্ছে নেক্সট রাউন্ডে আমি যেতে পারবো কিনা।
সীমানা যতই হোক দেয়ালে ঘেরা, এ আমারই মঞ্চ, জানি আমি সেরা।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম।
আমি শারমিন সাবালিনা। আমি আজকে নিয়ে এসেছি পিনা কোলাডা পাইনাপেল কেক।
ভিজুয়ালি দেখতে অনেক সুন্দর হয়েছে।
হ্যাঁ, প্রেজেন্টেশনটা ভালো।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
কি করেন?
একাডেমিক পড়াশোনা শেষ করেছি আমি, আর বর্তমানে আমি কালিনারি আর্টসের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা করছি, আর হোমমেড একটা খাবারের বিজনেস আছে যেটা আমি আমাদের এলাকাতে রান করছি।
শামিন, আপনি কোকোনাট ইউজ করেছেন এখানে?
না সে
পিনা কোলাডাতে কিন্তু কোকোনাট যায়। ইটস আ
জি।
মিক্সচার অফ পাইনঅ্যাপল এন্ড কোকোনাট।
কোকোনাট।
আমার কাছে মানে কেকের টেস্টটা বেশ ভালো লেগেছে।
আমার কাছেও কেকের টেস্টটা
Balance.
ভালো লেগেছে। ইটস নট টু সুইট, দেয়ার ইজ পাইনঅ্যাপল। when you
Very
call it,
juicy.
থ্যাংক ইউ ম্যাম।
আপনি এটা ছাড়া আর কি রান্না করতে পারেন? ঝাল খাবার কি রান্না করতে পারেন?
বিরিয়ানি, কাবাব, হচ্ছে মুঠি কাবাব, শামি কাবাব,
International
আছে জালি কাবাব,
ইন্টারন্যাশনাল কোনো খাবার?
যেমন চাইনিজের মধ্যে ফ্রাইড রাইস, চিলি চিকেন, ওনথন, থাই স্যুপ, এগুলো সব পারি।
চাইনিজের মধ্যে তো থাই আসে না।
নার্ভাস কেন?
ভালো আসছে না?
আমি জানি আপনি জানেন, বাট আপনি নার্ভাস কেন এত?
প্রথমবার আমার অডিশন, তো সেই জন্য।
আগে কেন আসেন?
আগে আমি মানে গত সিজন আমি ভাবছিলাম যে দিব, তারপর ভাবলাম যে না, আমি একটু কাঁচা আসছি, এখানে তো দেখি অনেক সব দক্ষ সবাই আসে, ওই জন্য আমি ভাবছিলাম একটু ভালো মতো শিখে তারপর যাই, সেই জন্য।
সো আপনার মনে হয় আপনি এবারের জন্য রেডি?
হ্যাঁ, আমার মনে হয় আমি রেডি আছি এবারের জন্য।
তাহলে আমরাও রেডি। আসলে আপনাকে একটা ওয়েটিং কার্ড দেই।
থ্যাংক ইউ শেফ। সেরা রাঁধুনির ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়েছি, আর আশা করছি গ্র্যান্ড অডিশনের জন্য সিলেক্ট হব ইনশাল্লাহ। এটা পেয়েছি, এটাতে অনেক খুশি লাগছে। ইনশাল্লাহ গ্র্যান্ড অডিশনের জন্য সিলেক্ট হলে আরও বেশি খুশি হব।
Mình đã xong con nhím với cái màu nâu này nhá. Phần những lá mình sẽ tô bằng màu xanh. Những trồng cây mình cũng tô bằng màu xanh nha. Đây nữa nè. Đây là các phần cái cây nhỏ ở dưới của một cái tán lá cây to nhá. Những cây cỏ nhỏ ở dưới á. Phần gốc cây mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu nâu nè. Thân cây. Đây là cái màu nâu nha. Phần thân cây mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu nâu nha. Một gốc cây cổ thụ rất là to. Với tán lá này mình sẽ tô bằng cái màu xanh lá này nhá.
It looked really good. Taste wise, it is also very good.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
কোথায় শিখলে বিফ লাজানিয়া বানানো?
এটা ফার্স্টে ইউটিউব থেকে দেখেছিলাম এন্ড দেন কয়েকবার বাসায় নিজে ট্রাই করেছি 4-5 বারের মতো, যখন আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে রেসিপিটা পারফেক্ট করতে পেরেছি।
আমি মৌসুমি।
মৌসুমি কি বানিয়েছেন?
এটা হচ্ছে চকো ক্যারামেল চিজ কেক ব্লসম।
Looks beautiful. I think আজকের দেখা one of the best presentation.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
কি করেন আপনি?
আমার ছোটোখাটো একটা বিজনেস আছে ফুড নিয়ে, পাশাপাশি আমি ট্রেনার হিসেবে রাজশাহী মহিলা টিটিসিতে আছি। আমি মাস্টার্স কমপ্লিট করেছি হোম ইকোনমিক্স থেকে, আর এছাড়াও আমি হোটেল ম্যানেজমেন্টে ডিপ্লোমা করেছি, আর এখন করছি হলো কুলিনারি আর্টসের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা। এছাড়াও আমি কিছু লেভেল কমপ্লিট করেছি যেটা কুকিং এবং বেকিংয়ের উপরে।
সো আপনি রাজশাহী টিটিসি ট্রেনার?
জি।
সো রাজশাহী টিটিসি ট্রেনার হিসেবে ইউ হোল্ড আ ভেরি হাই পজিশন ইন দ্য সোসাইটি, রাইট? সো ওই পজিশন থেকে এসে এরকম একটা প্ল্যাটফর্মে দাঁড়িয়ে নিজের খানাকে প্রুভ করা, দ্যাট টেকস আ লট অফ গাটস। অল ইউর স্টুডেন্টস আর ওয়াচিং, যারা আপনাকে চিনে তারা দেখছে।
জি।
অ্যান্ড এটা তো অ্যাবাউট নাও তো 50-50, ইট ক্যান গো এনি ডিরেকশনে। ফুড প্রেজেন্টেশন নিয়ে আমি বলেছি, ইট লুকড রিয়েলি গুড। টেস্ট ওয়াইজ ইট ইজ অলসো ভেরি গুড।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এভরি লেয়ার, ডিফারেন্ট এলিমেন্টস অফ ইট ভালো লেগেছে।
জি।
নিচের সসটা ভালো লেগেছে।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আমাদের যদি সিলেক্ট হয়ে যান তাহলে কিন্তু একটা লম্বা সময় থাকতে হবে, মানে এত কিছু বাদ দিয়ে ওইটুকু কি করা সম্ভব?
সম্ভব, কারণ আমার বাচ্চারা খুব করে চায়, এটা তো আমার ভালো লাগার একটা জায়গা যে আমিও চাচ্ছি এখানে যেতে। সঙ্গে আমার বাচ্চাদের খুব ইচ্ছা যে তার মাকে এই পজিশনে দেখা যাক, তো আমি হয়তো বা জবও ছেড়ে দিতে পারি এখানে যাওয়ার জন্য।
মৌসুমি, আমরা আপনাকে ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিব, ঠিক আছে?
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আসুন।
ইয়েস, পেয়ে গেছি আমার কাঙ্ক্ষিত কার্ডটি। যদি আমি অ্যাপরনটি পেয়ে যাই তো আমি যেখানে জব করি তাদেরকে আমি জানাবো আমি ছুটি চাই 2 মাসের জন্য। যদি তারা মানে রাজি হয় তাহলে ওকে, আর যদি না রাজি হয় তো আমার স্বপ্ন পূরণের জন্য আমি জবটা ছেড়ে দেব, তাও আমি যেতে চাই ঢাকা।
আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
আমার নাম তাসনিয়া আলী।
কি বানিয়েছো আজকে?
আমি বানিয়েছি বিফ লাজানিয়া।
কোথায় শিখলে বিফ লাজানিয়া বানানো?
এটাই ফার্স্টে ইউটিউব থেকে দেখেছিলাম অ্যান্ড দেন কয়েকবার বাসায় নিজে ট্রাই করেছি 4-5 বারের মতো, যখন আমার মনে হচ্ছে যে রেসিপিটা পারফেক্ট করতে পেরেছি।
সেটা পারফেক্ট আছে?
আই হোপ সো।
ইটালিয়ান আইটেমে কোন উপাদানটা ছাড়া কখনো ইটালিয়ান ডিশ হয় না?
টমেটো আর মজ্জারেলা, ওদের প্রত্যেকটা আইটেমে কাইন্ড অফ এই দুইটা জিনিস কনসিস্টেন্ট থাকে।
অরিগানো অলসো।
অরিগানো অলসো, ইয়েস।
এখানে মজরেলা আসছে?
জি, হোমমেড মজ্জারেলা, যেটা আমি নিজে বানিয়েছি।
হোমমেড?
জি,
I am very impressed যে you make your own mozzarella.
থ্যাংক ইউ।
আর কি কি ইটালিয়ান ডিশ তুমি ভালো তৈরি করতে পারো?
স্প্যাগেটি উইথ মিটবলস, এটা ফ্রিকোয়েন্টলি বানাই। আরেকটা হচ্ছে তিরামিসু।
বাংলা খাবার বানাতে পারো?
জি পারি।
5 ফোড়নে যে ব্যবহার করা হয়, 5 ফোড়ন নাম শুনেছো?
জি।
5টা মশলার নাম বলো তো।
মেথি, মৌরি, কালিজিরা, জিরা, নর্মাল জিরা অ্যান্ড না সরি লাস্টটা মনে পড়তে।
রাঁধুনি থাকে ওর মধ্যে।
ও হ্যাঁ, সর্ষে
রাঁধুনিও থাকে, রাঁধুনি থাকে। মনে করেন আপনি সেরা রাঁধুনি হয়ে গেলেন,
জি
15 লক্ষ টাকাও পেলেন,
জি।
দেন করবেন কি?
আই থিঙ্ক কালিনারি আর্টসে একটা ডিগ্রি পারসিউ করব ফার্স্ট অফ অল, অ্যান্ড বেকিংয়ে আমার আরও বেশি অনেক কিছু, যে অনেক টাইপের আইটেমস আছে, সো ওগুলো আমি আমার প্রফেশনালি শেখার ইচ্ছা আছে। তো আমি মোস্ট প্রবাবলি স্কিল বিল্ডিংয়ে ইনভেস্ট করব সবার ফার্স্ট।
So for now, we'll give you a waiting card. ঠিক আছে?
Học đi con. Ôi chơi lắm cái này.
Con phải lên, con đánh con của bạn. Con dạy là. Thầy gì ở đây luôn?
Thôi học đi. Không đi lắng này đâu con ơi.
Con có mũ mà.
Thì nhà sẽ tô phần con ơi, đi đâu ấy? Mình sẽ tô cái phần chúng mày Hello Kitty này bằng cái màu hồng nhá, hồng phấn này. Đôi môi là màu đỏ nè. Mình đã tô xong phần đầu với cái màu hồng nhá.
$15 লাখ পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আমার রেসিপির নাম হলো ভেলভেটি কোকোয়া ক্রেভিং।
জান্নাত, কি করেন আপনি?
আমার একটা অনলাইন পেজ আছে যেখানে বাসায় ফুড বানিয়ে সেটা কি বলে সেল করি। কারিগরি প্রশিক্ষণ কেন্দ্র থেকে কয়েকটা বেকিং এবং কুকিংয়ের উপরে সার্টিফাইড কোর্স করেছি এবং বর্তমানে এখন ডিপ্লোমা কালিনারি ম্যানেজমেন্টের উপরে ডিপ্লোমা করছি।
কেন এত পড়াশোনা করেছেন কালিনারি নিয়ে?
নিজেকে একজন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হিসেবে দেখতে চাই।
যখন প্রফেশনাল শেফ হয়ে যাবেন, আমি লাস্ট 7 বছর ঈদে কখনো ছুটি নেইনি। সো ঈদ কমপ্লিটলি গন, হলিডেজ কমপ্লিটলি গন। ফ্যামিলি এটা রাজি হবে? ফ্যামিলি মানবে?
আমি 8 বছর চাকরি করেছি মানবাধিকার সংস্থায়। চাকরি চলাকালীন আমি কোনো কিছু শিখতেও পারছিলাম না, এই বিষয়টা নিয়ে আগাতেও পারছিলাম না, সেজন্য আমি চাকরি ছেড়েছি এটাতে আগাবো বলে। আর চাকরি যখন করেছি তখন আমার ছেলেকে আমার মা, আমার বোন, ওরা হলো কি দেখাশোনা করেছে।
আপনার কেন মনে হচ্ছে যে সেরা রাঁধুনি সেই প্ল্যাটফর্ম যেটা আপনাকে শেফ হতে সাহায্য করবে?
যারা এই কালিনারি জগতে আসতে চায় তাদের জন্য একটা সেরা প্ল্যাটফর্ম হলো সেরা রাঁধুনি। সব কিছু একটা শক্ত হাতের প্রয়োজন হয় কোনো কিছুতে সামনে আগিয়ে যেতে, তো আমার কাছে শক্ত হাত সেই সেরা রাঁধুনিটা।
শেফ আমরা কি করতে পারি বলেন? নিয়ে যাই
ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিয়ে।
ওয়েটিং কার্ড দিয়ে দিচ্ছি।
4 বছরের অপেক্ষা।
কি নাম তোমার?
ফাতেমা খাতুন ঋতু।
কি বানিয়েছো আজকে?
ডেজার্ট বানিয়েছি হানি সানফ্লাওয়ার। আমি এখানে বাকলাভা করছি ক্রিম চিজ দিয়ে, যেখানে আমি ক্রিম চিজে ইউজ করেছি হানি।
সো দিস ইজ আ বাকলাভা।
বাকলাভা এবং চিজ,
আউটার লেয়ারটা বাকলাভার
এবং উপরে চিজ কেক,
চিজ কেক, এন্ড দেন দিস
দম চিকেন, আর ওইটা নান বানাইছি আমি।
এই দুটো রেসিপি থেকে যদি যে কোনো একটা সিলেক্ট করতে হয়, আমি যদি বলি আপনাকে আমি একটার জন্য মার্ক করব, সেটা কি হবে?
তাহলে বাকলাভা চিজ কেক।
কেন?
বাকলাভা আমার বেকিং খুব ভালো লাগে করতে।
কয়েকটি কুইজিনের নাম বলেন।
আচ্ছা, মানে আমি ইতালিয়ান, তারপর এইভাবে বলবো কি, পাস্তা, তারপর পিৎজা। ইন্ডিয়ান কুইজিনের মধ্যে আসে বিরিয়ানি, তারপর হলো বিভিন্ন ধরনের রায়তা, রাবড়ি, এগুলা। আর টার্কিশ ডেজার্ট করেছি, টার্কিশ ডেজার্টে বাকলাভা তো আসেই। থাই কুইজিনে হলো টমিয়াম স্যুপ আছে, তারপরে হলো থাই ফ্রাইড রাইস আছে। একটু
লেটস সে আমরা আপনাকে আজকে সিলেক্ট করলাম, আপনি শোতে এসে শো জিতে গিয়েছেন,
ওকে,
$15 লাখ পেয়ে গেলেন, এরপর কি করবেন?
আমি নিজের নামে একটা রেস্টুরেন্ট ওপেন করতে চাই, এটা করতে পারবো, এটা করতে পারবো।
15 লক্ষ টাকায় রেস্টুরেন্ট হবে না তো?
যতটুকু হোক, ছোট হোক বা বড় হোক, যতটুকু হোক আমি করব।
যদি আজকে এখানে সুযোগ না পান তাহলে কি আপনার জার্নিটা থেমে যাবে?
না না না, অবশ্যই না, আমি আবার চেষ্টা করব।
আই লাইক দ্য স্পিরিট। আপনার ফুডের টেস্ট ভালো।
থ্যাংক ইউ।
এখন খুশি হতে পারেন। আপনাকে যখন 15 লাখ টাকা জিতেছেন, আপনি ইমাজিন করতে বলছে আপনি অনেক খুশি হয়ে গিয়েছিলেন।
না না, এমন কিছু না। ঢাকা অবধি যাই তখন হয়তো ইমাজিন করতে পারবো যে আমি অনেকটা একটা ধাপ হলেও এগিয়ে আসতে পারছি।
ইমাজিন করেন আপনি ওয়েটিং কার্ড পেয়ে গিয়েছেন।
হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা।
পেয়ে গিয়েছেন।
সত্যি
জি, চলে আসুন।
ঠিকই জানি কি জানি আমার মাঝে আমি সেরা রাধুনী chân thật và kiên nhẫn con mang theo gieo thiện lương muôn phương bằng cả trái tim thiên thần còn nhìn thấy khắp nơi mẹ ơi. Trên trời cao con rớt xuống đây hắt được làm em bé xíu của mẹ này dịu dàng mẹ cười đón thiên thần đáng yêu. Mình đang tô bằng cái màu đỏ nhá, một cái màu đỏ tươi rất là lộng lẫy cho chú công này với bộ lông dài. Mình đã tô xong cái phần đuôi là màu tím và màu đỏ nha. Mình sẽ tô đôi chân với cái màu nâu. Đây là cái màu nâu nha. Tới cái phần chân là cái màu nâu nè. bộ lông dài, bộ đuôi dài lên, nó sẽ che hết cả cái phần chân của chú công này nha. Mình sẽ tô phần lông trên bằng cái màu vàng và cam kết hợp.